Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 1st of November, 2017. How is everybody doing? I hope you had a safe, peaceful week thus far. But I know as of late, there's been a lot of distractions, a lot of focus, a lot of attention seeking going on to keep you from looking, staying on task. I'm here to validate something for you. You got to stay focused within yourself, no matter what. Did you hear what I said? Because as long as you stay grounded, you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable to the things you don't understand and the things that you won't have clarity on because you're too busy being pulled which way. Now, what is unfortunate is you're not going to hear people talking about or trying to inspire you to go within yourself. This is not about me. You're going to find more negativity, more distraction, downright shock and awe in your day to day. I don't have to remind you of that. I don't have to. You get a daily dose every day when you come home and you turn on your local news in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you. But one thing that is never focused on is the state of the individual. What makes up your mentality? I've always echoed in my videos, do you know who you are? Because if you knew who you really were, you could answer that question, but you can also be honest to yourself to declare what you really need. Now, that's just a percentage of what's required for you to have the life that is intended, to make your dreams a reality. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people that have a realist perspective. They're looking at it as, well, Gerald, I'm not going to get got. I'm not going to let anything happen. I'm not going to live in fear. But indirectly, you're perpetuating that because it is and will always be spiritual. These are the things that we as spiritual beings manifest, or better yet, attract. But your life should not feel stagnant. Your life should be always about growth. Even in the moments where you feel that you do not have the ability to be strong. Who am I talking to? Because listen, there's a lot of people that will go with the flow. There's a lot of people that will prefer to not, you know, uh, how can I say this? You have a lot of people that just won't challenge or allow what inspires them to actually critically think. They take everything in face value. But who feels the effect? Where is the accountability when it comes to you? Because we like to speed right on past the rough spots. But never once do we take into consideration that maybe that was a teachable moment. Maybe that was revealed to you did not have the effect on your life directly, but you still felt something indirectly. Why? That was a teachable moment. That was an opportunity to gain insight and wisdom from what was being revealed. But see, I got that. I understand it is easy to pull on or bring in that alter ego, that persona, because that persona is nothing but false security. You don't deserve that. You'll never find peace with that. You will never have tranquility. You won't. And let's be honest, there are a lot of people on this planet, over 7.2 billion people, that refuse to claim their life. So if they're not willing to claim their life, how can you understand what makes your identity? What makes your perspective, let alone the mentality that you embrace? You hear people always say opposites attract, Gerald. No, it don't. Like-mindedness does that. That's where the commonality is. But at what price? Another sleepless night? Another disappointment? Another dream that will never come to pass? That's what living in hell is all about. If you choose not to embrace who you are in hell. But guess what? We allow that. Did you hear me? Every time that you feel something inside your being and you know that that is not what you need, that's a choice to accept. Yeah, I know there's a lot of opportunists out there that want to use the term of silence is condonement. To say nothing means you're going with it. But guess what? There's accountability there too. There's ownership there too. So how are you going to speed past one aspect without first looking at what made it so to begin with? Let's look at critically thinking. Let's look at that last disappointment, right? Let's look at it. What was a thought process that made that decision an action? Because it is about cause and effect. Do you realize there are people on this planet that have actually convinced themselves, this is who I am. I got to accept it. There's nothing I can do. And they're partly right. Because as long as you accept that outcome, the outcome will never change. You will never receive what was rightfully yours. It's no different than a person that has a pair of cubic zirconias, but they're trying to pass them off like they're diamond. You are the diamond. You always was. But until you decide to see your value of who you are, how about the physicality of what makes you unique? You realize how many people today, 2017, silently, secretly hate themselves? That's why you always see them in their behavior. It's always over the top. When there should be a moment of peace, they're the first ones to destabilize the environment. Why? Because really what they're doing is that's a indirect means of trying to gain attention, even if it's through bad behavior. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. Some of y'all already know because you're looking at the person in the mirror, but secretly, you know you're miserable. But guess what? The two most spiritual gifts God gave the moment that you took your first breath The number one was to unconditionally love yourself. The second was free will. Everybody has a right to choose the path that they wish to go upon. Otherwise, why would you go on the path to begin with? Nothing just so happened to occur. If you actually believe that, guess what? The things that make your reality, that make your environment like that, because they also understand that you don't see value in yourself. So they're going to continue to run the table on you. And then when you finally get fed up, when you finally get tired of being tired, or you're waiting on bated breath, you're not going to get that, I'm sorry. You're not going to get that, I apologize. You're not going to see that change in behavior. You know why? Because just like a thief in the night, they're gone, leaving you to pick up the pieces. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? But still, no matter what, there are people that will just let those pieces lie. Like old bones, they just let them collect. And they will keep aimlessly going through life. Not because they don't want to look for where they've been, but they realize the reality is that it's getting too heavy. And they're shocked that along the way, there will be those that will stand with them only to facilitate more pain. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. When you was at your lowest point, you didn't realize how vulnerable you really were. And what happened? Oh, yeah, there was somebody to distract you from what you needed to do. But did they build you up? Or did they set you up? Who am I talking to? They say the word pride is stronger than the will of a woman. It is as hard as a diamond. And you know a diamond's hard. But what is greater is the love of self. Why is it in 2017 people don't want to love themselves? They don't want to foster who they are. They just willingly accept what is given. I'll tell you why. Because that's truth. And the truth is, a lot of people want the end result without the work. What happens? You get detoured, you get distracted, you get put in unfamiliar places only to regroup and find your way back if you identify what's broken. Why is it in 2017 we have so many people that are broken? So if you know the heart has been broken, the mind is fragmented. Why are we not seeing the correlation between the two? Why is there so much loyalty and deflection and denial? Why? The truth of the matter is, it's because the people in your environment already know that answer, and they're praying that you won't. They like you the way you are, not because of the potential of who's to come, but what is left undone. And they use that as a tool to manipulate. How about this? Telltale sign a lot of times when a person doesn't have your best intentions, you know what happens? It's not that your mind goes for a spin, your health declines. And it stays that way until you proverbially get to that point. But even when you rock bottom, you still got a choice. You don't have to stay there. Prime example. How many times when you were out and about, going to and fro, and you saw that homeless person, right? You might be at the light and they panhandling. Like, I ain't got this, I ain't got that. Can you spare a dime? Did anyone even just take the consideration of this? If their life was so bad, why wouldn't they take the steps to make it better? Why would they not take account of what needs to be prioritized and corrected? Because to do that, that means you have to own it. And to own it, you must acknowledge what is broken, what needs focus, what needs to be repaired. But then that would be truth now, wouldn't it? Here's the thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and that's why we have so much turmoil in the world, is the truth be told, most people do not know how to communicate their thoughts. How many times when you had something occur, there the conflict came out of it, and instead of taking a step back to acknowledge that there is a conflict, but also allowing yourself to seek resolution. People will choose their pride over their, even if it kills them, than their future. And what is really sad is, if you're not focused on you, if you're not going to acknowledge what you truthfully need, how the hell can you acknowledge what you represent, especially if you're a parent? Why are we not looking at that? Has no one taken into consideration the world we are preparing for, those people that are going to come behind you? How about the people that you'll never know, but they're connected to you by lineage, by blood and bone? Why aren't we talking about that? Why is that not important? Because we're putting so much effort to fit a certain box, to personify a certain image that is false, a false narrative, only to see the end result of disappointment. So I'm going to continue to pose the question, do you know who you are? As long as the intended ear will listen. But guess what? That is an answer that I'll never get, because that is an answer that is waiting within yourself. If you don't like your reality, what's keeping you there? If you don't like the environment that you find yourself in, what is the loyalty that keeps you coming back? What is it? Because if you're not willing to answer that question, newsflash, stop complaining and accept it. Because guess what? There is a fraternity and a sorority called Pain Phi Pain. It is the representation of misery. And that table is endless. There's always going to be there's going to be a chair waiting for you to sit in. And you wonder why you see some people, they'll just lowball it and they say, well, you know what, Gerald, the reason I made those choices is because I was in a dark place. I was frozen. I was numb. Well, the only way to bring light to a dark situation is you got to look at the truth. You have to accept what is truth. Sometimes truth hurts. Sometimes truth is going to make you cry. Sometimes truth will break you down so you can rebuild. But you know what you're not going to have with truth? It's the people that had something to do with it. Because see, they'll never take ownership of their actions because they're too busy benefiting off of yours. Tired of your money being funny? Look at your environment. Because your friends should be a living example of who you really are. So if the only time they interact with you because it's to bring more despair, that's not the environment you should have been in to begin with. I understand because people like to demarginalize stuff all the time. Well, Gerald, I I love him, but he don't respect me. He don't. He just sit around the house. Who am I talking to? Put more emphasis on that game controller than his life. So who's really getting played? So how can you find inspiration in someone that will not stand with you? You do understand that your mate, if they don't have a relationship with God, they will never have a relationship with themselves. And if they don't have a relationship with themselves, they'll never have a relationship with you because they don't know who they are. So if they don't know who they are, how the hell do you expect them to know where they're going? How the hell do you expect them to understand what is needed to travel? It doesn't matter what it feels like. King, that is of the flesh. But I've never seen or heard someone say, well, you know what? I got this fine woman. She is the apple of my eye. She makes me feel complete. But she treats me like hell. No. And then you see it play out a lot in the female community because you hear this. I don't know what he saw on her. That was a downgrade. But never will take into consideration the fact that she saw what was required to earn his heart. Why? Because she also saw the value in hers. So why are you aligning yourself with someone that will never see the value in you? See, there are hundreds of thousands of people that will try to convince you to have a certain perspective of, well, we need to hate women because women, they use what they got to get what they want, but don't get it twisted. You don't have to entertain that because a real man is spiritual. And doesn't matter how many flowers he comes across, it is the one that he will smell the fragrance to. He will treasure that. He will cultivate that so that that flower can grow. But see, we live in a world now, it's people think that, well, you know what, I'm battle tested and I've got history, and because I have that history, I have a right to say and do whatever I feel. You have a right to live your life, but that doesn't mean that you're living it. I have this shirt that I wear that says, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. So the real question should be asked, Are you truly living? Or are you just going with the flow? Are you just allowing time to be taken from you? Because if you're looking for illustration through here on your TV or radio, you're already deceived because they have their own agenda. So why don't you have yours? Meanwhile, the it thing is to get to cloud nine as quick as you can, no matter what the cause. Do you realize that really, when you think about it, this pandemic with opioid overdoses is nothing but a throwback to the 50s and 60s of when people were strung out on heroin. It's the same, just change the drug and you have the same crisis. But guess what? What you never hear people talk about is what is the real reason why you choose to invest your time, money, your association in something that's designed to alter your mentality and cause a escapism like euphoria. But what you don't hear people talk about is, I got so high, I wasn't even thinking about my safety. But guess what? When I came off of that and I was sober, I still had the same problems I had before I even made the choice to get high. You don't hear people say that, do you? Why? Because then they will have to look at what the problems are. So the real question is, why are you allowing one moment for your problems? Your problems are not really problems. Those are challenges to spark growth. Everybody goes through a emotional plateau. No different than if, for example, it's no different than somebody that is loyal to their health, their body, and they're in the gym, right? And they're working out, they're eating, they're drinking their water, taking their vitamins, and then they're doing it for gains, but they're not seeing gains, and they get frustrated, and they don't understand all that dedication. They're not yielding the result that they need. It's because the perception of what you're looking for is only going to give you one viewpoint compared to someone that is not you looking. They see the gains all the time. They see the changes all the time. They understand. That's why the greatest gift that you could ever produce as a human being is time, being present. That right there is validation that's never celebrated. It's never talked about. It's taken for granted all the time. Why? Because we have this mentality that we're bulletproof. We have this mentality that that's all right. I'm guaranteed I'm gonna see tomorrow. You ain't guaranteed to see tomorrow. You wasn't guaranteed to wake up this morning, but you did. You know why you woke up this morning? Because you still got work to do. There's still actions required for this earthly realm that you, as your life, to bring and reveal. But unfortunately, we have more drug addicts than ever. We have more sexually transmitted diseases than ever. And we have just as many financially strapped people, more than that. Financially, they're in a box because they're in debt. And little people don't realize that as long as you choose not to take care of your body, you are basically giving a consent to those future doctors. They're going to call you patient. They have you connected to more synthetic pills. Why aren't we talking about that? Why don't you hear about that in media? Why? Because somebody's making money off your ignorance. And I say this all the time, and I haven't had anybody dispute this yet in 5 years. I've never met a person that has gone through anything and not once said, you know what, I really just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to feel acknowledged. I want to be validated that my existence matters. So I took measures in my hand. That takes ownership. That takes strength. That takes courage to acknowledge to yourself what you need. You don't have to answer to nobody but that little boy and that little girl that's found in the mirror. The person that you wake up to every morning and wash the coal out and brush your beautiful teeth. That's the person you owe it all to. But if you want to go a little deeper, you owe it to your elders. How about the people that paved the way? How about your unborn? Who am I talking to? You actually think that if you have a child, that is going to fill that void inside your heart. Do not do that. Not right now. I got this feeling somebody that all you've been trying to do for the last 5 relationships is to get pregnant. Because you believe that if you have a child, you will have someone that will unconditionally not only depend on you, but they'll never leave you. And you feel that that's the answer to your pain. No, the answer to your pain is to acknowledge what is the pain. Because right now, as long as you choose not to look at what makes you to feel the way you do, you'll never understand what was the motivation of the action that you caused. Why aren't we talking about that, family? Why? What you afraid of? You can tell them that you don't care, but you know every day that you do that, you're lying to yourself. Which basically you are choosing to sit still, to take a step back from your rightful place. Maybe, just maybe, the reason why things haven't fallen in place as they should, it is a company you keep. And maybe God is trying to say, listen here, I already know what you need because I wrote your life. But guess what? Because you got a bunch of opportunists around you, because you got a lot of people that don't give a damn about you, because you got people in your midst that you don't even know they're waiting and plotting. Some of y'all call them haters. But just know this, if you're living your life right, if you wasn't living your life right, you wouldn't have a hater. They're envious. You know why they're envious? Because you still motivate yourself to better it. And they have not gotten there. So misery loves company. They love the fact that you choose to disrespect yourself. They love the fact that you don't know what should be sacred and what the difference is for that word called intimacy. Yeah, intimacy. Into me, I see. Are you looking inside you? Or are you overlooking the pain? Because if you're choosing to overlook your setbacks, you're willfully perpetuating it. It will not go anywhere until you do it, until you deal. A lot of people have chosen to play the waiting game, or they say, well, they like to pervert the scriptures and say, well, you know, if you kill people with kindness, that's all you need. No, you don't. You love yourself more. And you put one foot in front of the other and you keep going forward. Why are you living in your past? Why are you worried about if you got the last one up on them because they made you feel a certain kind of way? But yet, you still don't acknowledge that you're a spiritual being. That's a prime example that you're spiritual being first. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't feel. How is it that someone has more influence over your actions and they haven't even laid a finger on you? But you feel it in their words. You feel it in their actions. You feel it in their mannerism. Because you're spiritual. You're spiritual. But see, I got it. Because see, society has always had an underlining agenda for trying to debunk God. A lot of people believe in man and not God, and they are surprised that they fall short each and every time. Because if it's meant for you, it will come to pass. Maybe this moment that you're sitting in that holding pattern, like a plane that's in a holding pattern, is flying over the airport waiting for the proper time to finally come on in and land. Maybe this is you. You can't land until you let go. Who am I talking to? But if you're too worried about who's going to have the last word, who's going to put the dot or the exclamation point in your disappointment, because that's what it is, because these people don't have a right to hear you breathe. And if you really think that these people truly give a damn about you, well, ask yourself this: where were they? They didn't just disappear. They didn't disappear. And newsflash, the more that you focus on yourself, the more they're going to focus on you. They're going to try everything in their power to dispel your growth, your change. Why? Because while they're focused on what you're doing, that's taking the focus on what they should be doing. Why is it that we know so much about everybody else's lives, but you take a back seat in yours? Think about it. If you're not number one priority, why are you sitting up here asking about being loved? You love yourself. Why won't you do that? Because the truth of the matter is, you can't love yourself until you invest in who you are. That means you got to cut all the alter egos, all the personas out, and you got to look at the real you. And when you decide to actually look at the real you, you know what you'll realize? You know what you'll come to understand? How beautiful you really were. Let me help some people, because I know there's some people that still want to be loyal to their denial. I'm talking to you. You tired of those sleepless nights? Huh? You tired of spending your money going to and fro, trying to find validation? Validation is just look at your odometer on your car or your truck. Mileage is pretty high, right? Does that match your efforts? I know somebody's like, shoot, you ain't talking to me. I'm talking to your heart. God is not going to give you what you can't withstand, but he's always going to give you what you need. So the choice is, take the excuses out. Take the fear away. What is fear? Finally, everything's a reality. And the reality is you deserve to have the life intended based off that first breath. Why are you putting that deflection on your friends? Your friends don't give a damn about you, because if they gave a damn about you, why aren't they grown? Come on. Oh, we got friends with benefits. He got his pride. He got his life, I got mine, we get together. No, 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 no. You do understand indirectly, you're both saying to each other, you're not a priority to me. So if you're not a priority to me, how am I going to see the investment? Why am I going to invest in something that doesn't have priority? But you wager your bodies all the time. You give the greatest gift to someone that doesn't even see the value of their own life. Come on. But yet you got still got some people saying, that's all right. I'm an independent person, Gerald. I got the job, I got the money, I got the intellect. Now it's time for me to add that partner perspective. And guess what you get? An opportunity. Your environment is going to be a reflection of your state of mind. So if your state of mind is not clear, how you going to understand where you're going? How you going to understand what you need? But better yet, how are you going to get mad when you get disappointment? If you don't mind, they don't matter. If you don't matter, they don't mind. That's why you can't have real conversations with them. They quickly shut you down. I don't want to talk about this right now. They'll quickly gaslight you. Nah, you crazy. You ain't crazy. Because if that was the case, why you keep feeling it? Because that's your heart talking to you. He said we're gonna get married, but we gotta take care of stuff first. Who am I talking to? Been 10 years now, huh? It's not priority. Well, she said that she wants to get married, but she wants to have a child first. Um, why are you gonna do that? But then again, if you're not priority, why do you expect them to invest in them in you? All you gotta do is look at their track record. Look at their track record. But be mindful for what the track record says, because people tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to know. That's why that shocking all has such an impact. You didn't even know he was playing like he was the good guy, but you look at the people he was connected to, and you can tell, he was out there. Well, he said he cheated on her because he didn't trust nobody. Why would you put yourself in a position of vulnerability? Why would you do that? Hold that thought, family. We teach people how we wish to be treated. There's no way around that. But if you're putting your time, your emphasis on what is important to illusions on a TV screen, you do understand that the camera comes off, right? Huh? You do realize 85% of that stuff is scripted. You do realize that you'll never have a relationship with none of those people. And you do realize they don't give a damn about you, but what they can get from you. That's why a lot of you had to deal with I know it's 3:30. Can I come on through? Not priority. It's not important. So why are you wagering your life, your health, your direction in someone who will never see the importance of it? You're not doing it. Meanwhile, socially, we're being conditioned to burn the candles on both ends. Do you realize how many people are being diagnosed with neurological diseases? MS, lupus, um, fibromyalgia, muscular sclerosis. I mean, the list, I mean, think about it. Neurological, brain, connected to the brain. So if your mind's not right, it's not going to be right. Some of y'all had your health, and just like that, now it ain't. Doctor's not going to tell you that. Doctors need patience. Doctors need you to put their kids through college, to pay for their vacations, to give them the life that they strive for. This does not make them wrong, because you're giving your power to a stranger, when in actuality you should govern it yourself. Nobody can make your health any better until you decide here. Well, let me shift gears because I didn't said enough. Because there are gonna be some people that you are loyal to your pain, and if you until you decide to address it, don't get mad when your life is taken, because you are willfully giving it away to things that don't even matter. You don't believe me? Here's your example. Think about some of the problems that you've had to deal with. You can't even remember what they were, but won't acknowledge that if the God's presence still is over you, because that's not your reality. No different than people choosing. I keep trying to tell queens, I keep trying to tell you, kings, take the wisdom. Stop looking for your mate. Stop it and turn that energy into you. Find you. Find a real you. Why won't you do that? Because until you decide to do that, see, God's got a storeroom with all your blessings in it. Every one of them. But he's not going to give them to you. You're going to squander it. That's no different than someone that doesn't know how to value $1 bill. A $1 bill, don't know how to value it. And then they turn around and they got the lotto, then hit 100 million. You think, how long you think they're going to hold on to that money? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's how the devil works. But see, let me tell you something. He'll, the devil will never flee your life until you acknowledge he exists. And that's why the Jezebel spirit is doing such a number on the nation. She's destroying families left and right. And she is slowly but surely convincing mankind not to see his value, his worth. No, you don't need to seek truth. Get with Charlene. What did God say? God ain't make no mistake. And you will never find peace of mind until you decide to seek it within yourself. But see, what y'all don't know, parents, you better listen up. Every day that you send your kids out to school to be educated, because keep in mind, those teachers spend more time with your child than you will ever. There's a blatant attack going on to convince your children to turn away from God. They say the average atheist is like 1 in 3 now. And the excuse has always been this: man did everything. There's no proof that God exists, but yet it's always been echoed. You can't have, you can't form anything from nothing but death. So there had to be a higher being to articulate, to create this world as we know it. But see, you got a lot of people that, well, they know this, but they won't acknowledge it because of pride. They won't speak it. They won't even speak the fact that whatever their fears is. You know, fear compounds pain, right? Did you know that? Mm-hmm. And you know what uh, sustains it? Denial. So what are you denying yourself? Meanwhile, you're looking for illustration from people that don't even know who they are. Because I want to be just like her. Look at them curves she got. Look at that. Look at how her hair is. That ain't her hair. But I give her credit for this. There had to be some level of consistency or ethics to maintain that. But if it ain't healthy, it ain't blessed. And keep in mind when I say this, because I'm going to wrap this up. Your body is the most perfect ingenuity ever created by God. And he created you. I don't care if you came from a set of quintuplets, there's only one you. Made you perfect. So why are you going to lowball yourself to the opinion of someone that don't give a damn? For what? All I'm saying, family, love yourself. It's not too late. It's not. I mean, validation is this right there. If they asses the people that caused you pain, caused you to feel this mentality that you got, and you feel that you more or less are, because pretty much people that walk in pride are primal. They have a survivalist mode about them because they refuse to look at what occurred still. So therefore, that pain lives within them every damn day. Every day. Can't you see that that person still has control over your life and they ain't even in it? They ain't even in it. And basically, every tear that you shed, how about all that money you wasted? How much all that time? How about all that stress? Some of y'all wouldn't be on the pills that you're on, because I know some of y'all on some pills. Well, you know, I just need my little happy pill every now and then, or I just need to have my little hook every now and then, you know, get my mind right. The best way you can get your mind right is clarity. Take a stance to love you more. That's all I'm saying. Just try. Most people won't try. So who's the pawn? Who's getting played? Who doesn't have a voice? Who doesn't see their worth? So how can you understand your value? It's quite simple. It's because you don't know who you are. But I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. Better days are ahead. The moment that you decide to commit to yourself. Maybe this is the moment that you are to be still. Maybe this is the moment that introspection is going to take place. Because I'm going to tell you what, once you start on that journey, guess what's going to happen? This is going to shock some of y'all. Your discernment will grow. And a lot of things that you did not know about, they will be answered either by manifesting through example or spiritually placed in your spirit. Who am I talking to? Choice is yours. I can't tell you why you think you got some of these older people that are seasoned in age are angry. They're bitter. Can't and won't hold a conversation that matters. Why? Because the reality is they knew the truth and chose to do nothing about it. So they love it when you're broken because it makes them feel a certain kind of way too. They think that there's a false sense of allegiance there. Well, it is what it is. It ain't got to be that way. It ain't got to be that way. That's what I'm saying. Now, on a different note, I mentioned this. I've been saying this since the beginning of the year, but more importantly, I echoed it earlier this week. Family, you need to be focused on your surroundings now more than ever, because there are a lot of opportunists out there that enjoy getting off. They get off on your pain. As long as you stay distracted, you won't see the things that you need to. Now, with that being said, unless you just have been disconnected, right now, socially, there's a lot of power playing going on, and you have those people, they're hiding things in plain sight, and they have agendas, and their agenda is to cause nothing but fear as well as calamity in your environment. And which is sad because a lot of these people are nothing but spoiled brats that went through life unchastised, and they have a footing where they think that there's no accountability there. But there is accountability. There is always been accountability there. And I say that because of the fact that the devil's work is never done, family. I mean, just look at this year alone. There's been so much calamity. There's been so much death. There's been so much negativity on this earth to convince you to give up on your life. You know, and who benefits? The people that want to control it. Sometimes things will be made present right in front of you, but you will be unscathed. That's God's way of saying, listen, learn from what you are being shown. That's all history is, family. Even though you got people, the non-believers don't want to tell you that, God always gives signs before things happen. Because he wants to make sure that you understand what is happening. You don't have to know the specifics per se, but you do also understand of the effect of it. Why? So he's trying to protect you. It's no different than somebody, a house is on flames, right? And you don't see the threat level of that, and you go run up in there, and you end up being engulfed by those flames. Why would you do that? But you got people, they live their life like that. They don't see the hazards. They don't see the warning signs. They're oblivious to it. But what will never change is this: misery loves company. You got to make a choice. Do you want to sit at that table? That's your choice. Why are you setting your watch wondering if they're going to call you today? You're going to see them today. Why are you doing that? I'm talking to somebody. If you were a priority, you wouldn't have to ask that question because they would validate your worth. because you're the example of it. If you don't see the value, if you don't see the value in you, you can't expect your environment. Your environment will reciprocate your actions through manifestation. That's what manifestation is. Remember, God said, first there was the word. What do you think words are? Vibration. The human body gives off two frequencies: love, fear. And we attract exactly that on that frequency. But please be careful. You know, there's been a lot of fear mongering going on social media, but that does not negate of being aware of your surroundings. If you don't want to do it for you, do it for those who love you. And I know there might be somebody say, well, nobody love me, Gerald. I'm just living. But really, are you living? Life without love is not living. That's hell. That's hell. You're just a stone's throw from death because you're not at the potential that you are set out to do. Now, so I know some of y'all are tired of being tired. Well, if you're tired of being tired, acknowledge what you're being tired of and have the courage to correct it. Speak your truth. What's keeping you from speaking your truth? Is it fear or is it denial? Because there's a lot of people walking around this planet in denial. And as long as they keep that position, they'll constantly be taken advantage of too. Because at the end of the day, even with what's going on socially, those people don't have your back. They never did. They didn't. That's why you can never find them when you need them. Oh, but when they need you, oh, they're there. Why? Because you're not the priority. You just pay out. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Queen, you can't have the man of your dreams until you decide to claim yours. What is it going to take? All this right here is truth. If you're walking around with a bunch of weariness because it's written all over your face, denial will do nothing but keep on taking. Come on now. Put on Erykah Badu's Bag Lady. Listen to her words. You that smart. You that smart. Why aren't you loving yourself? Be blessed.